Okay, so today we're going to take a little trip. A hilarious and, let's be honest, probably a little bit traumatic trip down memory lane, right into the wild, absurd world of Indian high school and the one thing that haunted us all, the board exams.
And this, right here, this quote just nails it. Our schools made the board exams out to be this huge life-or-death monster. And you know what? It totally worked. The fear was so real, and the stories that came out of that time aren't, well, they're just unbelievable.
So where does our story even begin? Well, it starts with a very practical decision. See, to save about 800 rupees a month on the school van, a bunch of friends decide, hey, let's cycle to school. A great idea for saving money, sure, but it also meant cycling in the freezing cold every single day. And that came with its own set of complications.
And one of the first problems they ran into every single day wasn't the weather or the traffic. Nope, it was the school uniform, more specifically, the blazer. You'd think a pocket is a pretty standard feature, right? Well, not at this school. It led to this bizarre situation, a genuine case of pocket inequality. I mean, just look at this. This is the evidence right here. The boys' blazers came fully equipped with count them, four pockets. 2 on the outside, 2 on the inside. So what did the girls get? 1. A single, lonely pocket to carry everything. Why? To this day, nobody has a clue.
So, since there were no outer pockets to keep your hands warm, the only choice was to shove them deep into the inner pockets. Can you just picture this? Kids trying to steer their bikes using just their elbows, looking all stiff and awkward, only to dramatically pull their hands out at the last second. What a sight.
Oh, and it gets better. As if the pocket situation wasn't enough, the narrator's bike had this one major flaw. The chain would pop off if he pedaled just a tiny bit too fast. So his dad literally gave him special training on how to fix it with a friend. It was a whole 2-person operation, which meant he had to carry a wrench and a screwdriver to school every single day.
But look, the daily struggles weren't just physical. They were academic too. And I'm not talking about advanced calculus or organic chemistry. No. The real villain, the one subject that just broke everyone's brain, was English grammar, specifically tenses.
For example, let's take a look at the past continuous tense. The official textbook definition says it's an action or state that was happening at some point in the past. Seems simple, right? Clear as day. Or is it?
Yeah, this is what happened in the classroom. Total chaos. Everyone's just thinking, wait a minute, so it's past? It's over? But it was also happening? It's in the past, but it's continuous? What does that even mean? In the end, the only strategy was just to wing it and pick whatever sentence kind of sounded right.
So you have all these little daily battles, but all of it was just a warm-up for the main event. Because the way the school prepared everyone for the board exams, it wasn't really education. It was more like a full-on, high-intensity, military-style boot camp. And the rules they hammered into our heads were just terrifying. Rule 1, your hand can never stop writing, not for a second. Rule 2, don't know the answer? Doesn't matter. Just write something, fill the page. Rule 3, if you get caught cheating, we don't know you. You are on your own. And don't you dare even show your face near the exam center without your admit card. The pressure was just unbelievable.
And the pressure got to people, for real. When an invigilator walked up to the narrator at the exam center and just asked for his name, his mind went totally blank. He completely forgot his own name. He said he had to mentally call his mom just to remember what it was. That's the level of stress we're talking about.
Getting to the exam center itself was a whole other mission. Seriously, it was like walking into a high-security prison. The narrator says he has never, ever seen security this tight. Not even at an international airport. We're talking guards, army personnel. He even said there were tanks parked around the school. Tanks!
And then the main event, the arrival of the question papers, and they didn't just show up in a briefcase, no. They arrived with what he called Z+ security, a tiny little parcel escorted by a team of 10 bodyguards. The paranoia level was just, wow. Once you got inside, the rules were even crazier. Digital watches? Absolutely not. Banned. But analog watches? Totally fine. Opaque pencil pouches were a no-go. They had to be transparent. And of course, that wrench and screwdriver he carried for his bike, they were treated like actual weapons, confiscated on the spot and chucked into a drain right in front of him.
These guards were looking for anything and everything. They were literally unwrapping erasers to check for tiny cheat notes. It got so bad that one kid who was asthmatic had his inhaler taken away because the guards thought it was some kind of drug. Just absolute madness.
All right, so somehow we've made it. We survived the boot camp, we got past the tanks and the bodyguards, and we're finally sitting in the exam hall. But the story's not over. Oh no, this is where the whole thing takes a massive plot twist.
Just think about it for a second. After all that, the 10 bodyguards, the drain-toss tools, the eraser inspections, after all that insane security, what if the paper had already leaked anyway?
Because that is exactly what happened, and in the most ridiculous way you can imagine. About a month before the exam, someone leaked a totally fake paper online. Well, the teacher who was supposed to set the real paper decided to cut some corners. He went online, bought the fake leaked paper, and then just copied it, word for word, to make the official board exam. All that security? It was for a paper that was basically already public.
The irony here is just perfect. The original guy who made up the fake questions and leaked them, he was apparently just as shocked as everyone else, wondering how in the world his made-up paper ended up being the real thing. You couldn't write a better script. And the chaos lasted right up until the very last second. When that final bell rang, the invigilators went on a total power trip, snatching papers left and right. One guy handed his in, but the invigilator gave it back, probably feeling disrespected. But the second the student tried to write one last word, the invigilator snatched it away again, just for the satisfaction.
So, when you look back at all of it, the bike chains, the single-pocket blazers, the grammar war, the paper leak fiasco, you really have to ask yourself a question. Was it the 3-hour exam itself that was so scary, or was it the completely bizarre, chaotic, and just totally absurd system that was built up around it? It's something to think about, right?